Guys, we are so back with day 3, and to be honest, there was a bit more to add to the frame that I personally wanted. In the back, I added a few small blocks for extra support, and I decided to also install a small square frame by the sliding door that will make this area a bit more sturdy. We forgot to record a video for this one, but you'll see it a little bit later on in this video. By the driver and passenger seat area, I added these small cutouts to support the plywood. It didn't feel right that the plywood would be hanging off the frame, so I added these just in case. I also added 2 more furring strips by the wheel well, since we'll have cabinets with a sink on the passenger side and a shower and shelving on the driver's side. And once these pieces are cut, painted, and dried, we're going to install them in their designated areas and then start getting insulation boards ready for the floor. The installation was probably the most time-consuming part of the subfloor build. We didn't account for the fact that the open areas in the frame varied in width and length, so literally every single foam piece ended up being a different size. We picked up Tech foam boards from Home Depot for this. They're cost-effective, and the main goal was finding something water-resistant and rated for foundation use.
Here's that square Jason mentioned earlier that we forgot to record, but thankfully we captured a little bit of it to show you guys. It's cool knowing there's support there now, and once the plywood goes down, there will be about a 15-inch extension that opens up extra kitchen and cabinet space over the step of the sliding door.
And like I mentioned earlier, these pieces weren't all the same size. We had to custom cut a piece for every open area in the frame. It got to the point where I was using masking tape just to double check the measurements, since we wanted the installation to fit perfectly. When it came to the trickier pieces, I crafted them together from the leftover scraps of the foam boards and secured them with metallic insulation tape. Angelique's in the back getting some of the insulation ready for the little inserts that you see here. She actually reminded me that we had additional insulation material, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to double up on the floor and connect them together using the same metallic tape that I had used earlier. The material we had in the garage was Reflectix R2. This came in handy since it's designed for colder climates, and by laying it directly on the metal floor and stacking the foam boards on top, we're able to get a good use out of both materials. And now that that's put together, it's finally time to install the frame. Right off bat, we're jumping in and attacking the sections of the floor where the furring strips are currently sitting. I'm using a sander with 220 grit to remove the paint. The goal here is to make sure the furring strips get a good grip on the metal of the van without the paint getting in the way of the contact. And to make sure I'm sanding in the right spots, I'm slowly removing the masking tape while sanding at the same time. Right after, I pull out the air compressor to clear out all the dust and small particles, making sure that there's no debris left behind that could get stuck under the frame. Then we lay this frame right where it's meant to be and then start applying the adhesive. The adhesive I went with was the Loctite Premium Construction Adhesive, and I started with smaller sections of furring strips I showed earlier in the video, just to get those out of the way. For weight, I used full-gallon paint buckets to apply pressure and help get the wood a solid grip on the floor. Then Angelique and I lifted the frame up and turned it sideways in the van so we could apply adhesive to the rest of the floor. Once that's fully down, we took a moment to look everything over, checking for any gaps, lifting, or spots I might have missed. I want this floor completely locked down and make sure it's completely sealed. After double checking the adhesive, I basically grab everything heavy from the garage and place it on the frame inside the van. And since we have all this weight on the frame now, we're just gonna let it dry and we'll revisit it after we do a Home Depot trip to get the plywood for the floor.
Stay tuned for the next episode where we will finally be completing the subfloors. Yay!